I'm gonna start the recording again. Yay. Okay, so let's see if that worked. Twitch. Yes, okay, it did work. Okay, I'm going to start sculpting, continue the Baby Groot sculpt that I was working on the last time I did this. So, Baby Groot. Alright, so the proportions are all blocked in. Everything is looking Grootish. I am not quite sure how to handle some of these things, but we will forge onward and upward. First, I need to find my references. Where are my references? I'll just start over. Baby Groot. I am Groot. One thing I don't have a good reference for is the top of Baby Groot's head, so let's see here. Top of head. I don't think I'm ever gonna get a good reference for that. Dang it. Don't you people know? Yeah, there's somebody who just made it up. Okay. Whatever. Alright, so this is gonna require a lot of asymmetric sculpting, so I'm trying to just concentrate on the big forms. And let's see. Applications. First I gotta load in my shelf. There we go. Okay, so let's see. This is gonna require a lot of push and pull and turn this off. Okay, so what I'm going to do is record this in a new layer. No. There. Alright. So what this does is anytime I sculpt on the figure, if I don't like what I'm doing, I can go back and turn it off. So let's start pushing and pulling some topology. I don't like that. Let's try to sketch this in first. So we got a crack here. Got a crack here. Got a little bit of a nub in there. And got a big formation out here. Okay, so The only problem with layers is now I can't do my dynameshing. So what I think I will do is just, okay, so we'll turn off this layer, we'll duplicate, we'll turn off the original just in case I horribly fuck something up, and we'll turn on the layer all the way and bake. So now I can dynamesh and move things out a little bit better. Why is this button not working? Alright, let's see. Modifiers. Where is it? Auto masking. Here we go. Backface mask. Why doesn't that work on the button? I don't know. Alright. So a little bit more. Let's see here. So what I'm doing is trying to just match the overall silhouette from the various reference photos. Most of them are from the front, so I don't have good turnarounds, which is okay. I guess I should, if I wanted to, get this really accurate representation is buy the toy, and then base my sculpt off the general shapes. I want to get the impression of Groot, but I don't necessarily want to copy this stuff. Copy Groot directly. But I need good enough references to be able to do my own interpretation of him. So it's kind of this weird catch-22 of I want to create enough of an impression that it looks like the thing that I'm doing, but without directly copying it. So I mean, I think the silhouette is already dialed in terms of my version of this style, so we'll just see how much I can do in this thing. Whatever this nest is up here, I guess it could be like a nest. Let's see, where's my trim dynamic? There we go. Wonk, 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 wonk. I guess one other technique I could have done is just created a bunch of flat pieces of geometry and then merged them all together. But I kind of wanted to see how this pulling the bits out of the geometry would work. pulling out these bits. I think I want to put in a divot here. So general dome it in. Just a little, and then bring it up. Yeah, flatten that out. Yeah, that's too much. Okay. So let's see. Does anyone have a clever shot of Groot from behind? This Hot Toys Groot is really good. It's got a lot of great detail in it. Definitely love the branching sculpture. The bark looks great. Baby Groot. Bum, 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 bum. Sideshow toys, that's what it is. There, baby. Oh, here's the back. Okay. They constructed the back like he had a lot more segmentation going on. So there's like this big dunk section here, and then there's sectioning here. There's like this a big old section here, implying that, you know, these were all separate pieces of bark. Then we can do some of this thing in here. Orb crack works well. This works well. This looks good. Okay, so and just more texture buildup with the standard clay brush, standard clay buildup brush. Okay, more segments, and then I'll just sculpt this, dump this inside. Boo, 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 boo. All right. Solo Groot so I can get more access to this part of his face. More of this, more of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of everything. Using the crack ore brush a little bit to deepen some of these valleys. Some bigger slashes, just to give the impression of more deep facets in the wood and the bark. Bigger separation between stuff. A little bit of indentation here. Some more stuff in here. What other things we got? Orb slash, orb cracks, hammer, curve, smooth peaks. I don't want to get too crazy with the detailing. Rake is always good. I think maybe the top of Groot's head has vegetation on it, so I can sculpt that in. There'll be a vegetation pass, I guess, in here, so I can leave some of this alone. Figure out how I want to handle the vegetation. A lot of this stuff is experimentation on my part, because, I mean, I love ZBrush and I use it a lot, but I am by no means an expert. So some of the detailing things I do are kind of haphazard. But I think this is good enough for the head detail, at least to start off. And yeah, these transitions out are pretty good. They're not entirely awful looking. Got a crack in here. Got a crack in here. Let's check out the geometry. Nothing is pulling too crazily, so I think this is a good place to leave at least this part. Okay, so let's go back into the body, and we want to duplicate that. I'm just gonna keep all the ones that I duplicate up towards the bottom, down towards the bottom. Turn that off. And guess there's a better way, like if I made up the legs as a bunch of tubes, or if I sculpted in the things. Let's try this. Okay. So duplicate you. Want 215 for your Dynamesh. And we'll solo you. No, we won't solo you. Okay, so let's block in the cracks that we want to focus on. Let's see, is this enough resolution to do what I want to do? Yep. Okay. Alright, so let's do this. Okay, so we got separation here, some of that going on. Got a big honking piece of wood here. Got a big honking piece of wood over here. You have some honks of wood down here. Honk of wood here. Honk of wood. Got a little booty wood. There's got to be a better way to do this, but I'm gonna try and see how far this gets. Like direct sculpting all this detail out is probably folly on my part. I'm gonna try it. No, there's definitely a better way to do this. Okay, so let's see. Let's redo our group visible. Okay, so maybe turn the entire body into nothing but polygroups and then separate the polygroups. Maybe that's the way to do it. At least the big forms, like the chest piece. extract all these pieces into subtools? I clearly haven't figured all this out. So extract. .01 here. Extract. .015. Extract. Accept. Okay, so we'll just do this. We'll separate out the big forms, and then we'll sculpt the details into those. And then we'll go back and refine everything. So right now they're being extracted at the same thickness, so that's why it looks like that shell is all the same height. But when I go back in and sculpt details on those specific parts, I'm going to push some stuff back and pull some stuff forward. These ribs going to go like this. So everything is going to look like it's in the same plane of existence, when that is not going to be the case in the final situation. Oops. Oops, oops, oops. No, 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 no. Let's try to accept. So this is gonna look messy as fuck. But I think this is the best way to... Oops. The best way to do what I want. So I'll have a couple layers. Make sure to combine ones that don't interfere with each other. And then just go around and sculpt out this stuff. There are probably procedural ways to do this. Procedural being automatic, but I am trying to do it this way. So there's going to be a bunch of little tiny bits and pieces here. And we'll see how it goes, man. Alright, that looks like nothing right now. Let's go and see if I can turn this into something. $256. Oops, come back tools, I need you, okay. So let's see, what can I combine him with? Okay, so we got the groin cup and that. Here are some ribbies. Got a single thing. What is this one? This is the stomach and the butt. Got a rib and some more ribs. So I guess we could do combine these, merge down, and move this one up and merge down. Just so we have a little bit of less chaos. And there we got a hip bone connected to, nope, these are good on their own. Hip bone connected to the backbone. I guess I could do, whoop. Okay, could do that one, merge down. Did I do another back plate? Oh, this is so confusing. Okay, whatever. Alright, let's start here. So, geometry, Dynamesh, we want to, oops. We want 256, 256, enter, Dynamesh. Let's clay polish that. And Dynamesh. Let's move down. So this one will 256. Dynamesh U. Clay polish, and then Dynamoosh. $256. Dynamesh U. Clay polish. Dynamesh. Clay polish again. Clay polish again. Dynamesh. Okay, now we go. We've done that one, we've done that one, we've done that one, we've not done this one. Let's combine those. Why not? Alright, so we gotta set up the Dynamesh again, 256, Dynamesh, clay polish. Oh, where are the other ones then? Oh, I guess I should talk. So what I'm doing is just separating pieces out for this baby Groot that I'm working on, and I'm just trying to figure out a solution for the bark, which is the most difficult part, but I think I've come up with a solution that works, and we're just gonna keep plugging away and see if that works. Clay polish, Dynamesh again, Dynamesh again. This one's already processed, this one's already processed, this one's already processed, this one is not. So go to our geometry, Dynamesh 256. These numbers are arbitrary, but I generally like to Dynamesh in factors of 2. So 32, 64, 128, 256, 10, 24. It works for me. I don't particularly think that that's the only way. And Dynamesh 256. But it tends to give me evenish topology over a surface. Alright, so turn off transparency. Now I got some bark looking sections, so now I can go back and kind of work on each individual piece here. Sculpt it up. Sculpt it back. Just add some roughness to make it kind of look like it would interact with each other. That's starting to get somewhere. Each segment kind of cross segments with the other ones. And this is just for blocking in purposes, so the resolution isn't terribly high. So we're getting a little bit of artifacting in here, but that's okay. This was mostly an experiment to see if I could get a decent result, and the answer is kind of. Okay, so a little bit of in cuts here, some in cuts there, some clay build up here. You know what I could do? I could merge them all together into one, and then let's see. There's a Dynamesh option. Let's see, where are we? That keeps groups. But I think I want to keep these separated for now until I play with it a little bit more. I'm not entirely certain that this is the direction to go, but it's a start. I think at every point in your sculpt, it's gonna look like ass, and this is definitely at the ass looking stage of things. This is not good. Like, it's really primitive looking, really ugly. These segments don't necessarily look like they're tree-ish, but I'm trying to give off the impression that they're segments, so I'm not getting too hung up on detail right now, or positioning. I can do that later. Okay, I want to test something, so best way to test my theory is to try it out on random pieces of geometry. Oh, and I forgot to sculpt on this one. And I also forgot to sculpt on that one. So where's that one? There we go. All right, so testing. So let's create a sphere, and let's create another sphere, and let's move one of them over this way, and let's merge them both down so they're on the same thing. And let's take a look at the polygroups. So let's auto group. Right, so they're technically separate. All right, so now let's go to our Dynamesh, and we'll turn on groups, and we'll turn out the radius, and then we'll Dynamesh. Turn it down and Dynamesh. Did we get anything done? Okay, so now let's see if they're still separate. Oh, they still are. Ooh. Let's lower the resolution. Oops. And we'll draw on that, and we'll draw on that, and then we'll move one of these, and they're still separate. And let's up the resolution, draw on one. And then move, oops, and they're still separate. Okay, so what's going to happen now is I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to combine all the subtools that I've just created. So merge down, merge down, merge down, merge down, merge down, merge down, and I'm going to group them all into their own polygroup. So now they're all individual bits. And now here's the fun part that should work. So if I sculpt on Lonely Tummy, whoops, if I sculpt on Lonely Tummy here, and open that back up, and if I sculpt on Lonely Backbone here, and sculpt on Lonely whatever this is, And then here. Then I turn on my groups Dynamesh. I should maintain all of these subgroups into one, which will make my life a whole heck of a lot easier when I'm sculpting Groot's armors, or not armors, his wood, his wood. So I can isolate separate sections and increase the resolution and then move things around. Ah, this is so much easier than I thought it would be. All right. So Baby Groot works on that. That's the torso. I can do the same thing with the feet. But I think I want to do something different with the feet, because the feet are roots. Alright, turn off polygroups. And for the feet, I might just take some tubes and intersperse them. I'm not sure what to do. Anyway, all right, so I figured out that bit of work. I think I'm going to stop here before I bang my head against the wall too much. Last thing to do, save, of course. And Baby Groot. And I should at least do a good render. So external render keyshot. Keyshot bridge. And whoop. Come on. There we go. And then we zoom in on little baby Groot. And we hit you with like a clay. Make that white. Turn the light around so it's not hiding you. And then turn on product mode. And there we go. All right, so I'm gonna stop now. I gotta figure out some other settings on this stuff. Yeah, I think we're making some progress. All right, thanks for tuning in. And I'll check you later. All right, bye.